What's up, everybody? It's Nick from Who Dat Travel. Now, my family and I recently returned from our very first Disney cruise on the Disney Magic, and it was, well, pure magic. Yeah, I intended that pun. I'm a dad. I have to have dad jokes. But it was different than any of our other cruises we've ever been on in the past. The food, amenities, entertainment, the service, and the immaculate ship were all wonderful, of course. I did do a lot of research and talked to several regular Disney cruisers before our trip and learned plenty along the way about the differences with Disney cruises. Here are 9 of the most important tips I'm passing along to others for their first time Disney cruise, as well as those who haven't been on the Disney ships in a while. My first tip, and this was a big one for me, was utilize the Facebook groups. This was completely new to me and the single most important tip for a first-time Disney cruiser. Every single sailing, and I mean every single one, has its own Facebook group. These are informal, unofficial groups usually started by a passenger with a lot of Disney cruise experience. This is done for the sake of building a community before you even board. Once in the group, you can ask questions about everything from what to pack to whether there's going to be anything for your picky toddler to eat on ship, and even unofficial meetups for age-specific kids to make friends at the beginning of the sailing. It is also where you would go to join your fish extender group. Now, don't worry if you have no clue what a fish extender is. I didn't either until I did research for my cruise, and I'll talk more about that later in the video. Anyway, to find your cruise group, just search your cruise ship name and date of sailing. If your cruise is a ways away, someone may not have started the group yet, so just keep checking back. The next one isn't exactly specific to Disney, but I'm going to include it because, well, I messed it up on my first Disney cruise. Bring a carry-on bag. Since the porters will take all of your luggage when you arrive at the port, you won't be seeing your bags for at least a few hours as they are all sorted and delivered to your stateroom. That's why it is imperative that you have a carry-on bag that you will have with you at all times. In it, you should include all your important travel documents and identifications, medications, motion sickness remedies, toiletries, and swimsuits if you plan on hitting the pool as soon as you're on the ship. In all honesty, I was in such a rush trying to get everything together for my family that was with me, and my little guy, I just handed the porters everything. At least I still had the backpack that I had all of my documentation in, but I didn't have my carry-on, which had my swimsuit and also had my Magic Band Plus, and so they couldn't set that up at the very beginning of the trip. This next tip I did mention already a little bit, but fish extender gifts, pixie dusting, and rubber ducks. I'm going to lump all of these together. If you're a fan of spreading Disney magic, you'll probably want to take part in at least one of these activities. Outside every single stateroom on every Disney cruise is a metal fish that cast members use to leave you documents, important information, and even your stateroom keys. What many cruisers do is take a pocket organizer and hang it on the fish so that other cruisers can leave small gifts and trinkets in each other's fish extenders. If you'd like to take part in all of the gift giving and receiving, it's essential you join your sailing's Facebook group where the admin of your group will usually organize a fish extender list. Now, if you don't want to be placed in a fish extender group, no problem. Bring a bunch of small gifts, preferably labeled with your stateroom number and name so that the receivers know who they're from, and pixie dust random guests by placing gifts in people's pocket organizers. It was so much fun finding little small trinkets at your door every day, and just as fun leaving gifts for others. The last alternative to spreading some Disney magic is to bring with you a bunch of small rubber ducks of any kind and place them any and everywhere on the ship. You can either take any rubber ducks that you find home or rehide them for others to find. Again, be sure to label them so folks know who to thank. Now be aware that this practice has been slightly discouraged by Disney Cruise Lines. As of the recording of this video, though, it has not been banned, just discouraged. This next one blew me away. The Disney door decorations. Yes, outside most everybody's stateroom, there are just elaborate decorations and even pin trading at some of the people's doors. Now, this is something that you don't have to do, but honestly, you can go ahead and show some of your creativity and show some of your favorite Disney characters. For us, we had Bluey, and it is a lot of fun to quietly go through the hallways and look at everybody's doors and the different decorations that everybody puts so much time into. And I will be honest, people get really creative with this, and it is a ton of fun just to go look at everybody's doors. Now, this next tip, well, be prepared to wait in lines. Now, of course, it's Disney. There's got to be a line somewhere. Well, whether it's to meet and greet with Mickey or it's a bingo game, we quickly realized that waiting in line wasn't just for the rides at Disney. The problem is there is no Lightning Lane or Genie Plus to help you find the front of the line. But to be honest, you really don't need it. The lines aren't really that long. But just be prepared to know that there is going to be a line for things, especially meeting the characters. However, when you're meeting the character, I promise it's going to be a much shorter line than at any of the parks. My next tip might be a little bit confusing, but hear me out until the end. You'll understand why. Get there early or late. My best tip is to always arrive at any onboard activity or show a minimum of 15 minutes before its scheduled start. You'll find the activity start time as soon as you board the ship using the Disney Cruise app, which you definitely want to have downloaded on your phone even before you arrive. Now, this applies to everything except dinners. When we did arrive early for dinner, there was a massive line. So usually for dinner, we didn't get there 15 minutes early. We usually got there right on time, or maybe 2 or 3 minutes late, and we were able to walk right in and right to our table. Something I found out upon my research before we booked the cruise kind of surprised me, is that soft drinks are included, but not all of them. Now, I realize that this isn't going to be probably a deciding factor about taking a Disney cruise or another cruise line, but it is a nice one. Whether you're just hanging at the pool or at dinner, the fountain beverages are free. Now listen to what I just said, fountain beverages. This doesn't include when you're ordering at the shows or sitting at the pool and a waiter comes up to you. The bottled beverages do come at a cost. So what you're able to do is go up to the fountain beverages and go ahead and self-serve. Now, we did have a little bit of a concern on board with sickness, so they were actually serving us at those fountain beverages during our cruise. Next up is that Disney does rotational dining. Now, let me explain a little bit about what rotational dining is. When it comes to dining, Disney does something that no other cruise line does, at least that I'm aware of. On most mainstream cruise lines, you'll either have a fixed time for dining or flexible dining, where you just show up at the restaurant when you're hungry. On Disney, everybody has a fixed time for dinner, but it's not just the same time that's set, but it's actually the restaurants that you'll eat to. Disney calls this rotational dining, and basically you're assigned a different restaurant each night, and your waiters and everybody else in the restaurant follow you to the next restaurant. Overall, I thought that it worked, really well, and loved that our wait staff knew that Little Man had lemonade every night and that I was generally drinking Sprite throughout the cruise. So I never had to order a drink. It just arrived like magic. Yeah, another magic pun. I can't help myself. The service overall was really good, and the waiters would take the time to talk to Little Man. Some of our favorite times were the shows that we had at Animator's Palette and also Rapunzel's Royal Table. My last tip is that Disney does theme days and nights on your cruise. Now, I get it. Other cruise lines do theme days and nights as well. But in true Disney fashion, these themed days and nights are over the top. But the only thing that is not just Disney that's going over the top, so are the guests. It was unbelievable. We had a Pirates in the Caribbean day on our cruise, and I saw some of the most elaborate costumes and outfits to celebrate. I mean, these were next level, and most of them cost hundreds of dollars, and I can't imagine the amount of space that some of them took in people's luggage. Now, of course, Disney pulls out all of the stops with different shows and fireworks on board. And of course, you get to meet some pretty rare characters and see these characters dressed in their pirate garb. It is unbelievable. And they'll do different days at sea, like Marvel, and they'll do Star Wars. They'll do all sorts of days at seas, and it is a truly fun time. All right, of course, I had to throw in a bonus. They will give you actual free pixie dust. Absolutely anyone of any age can stop by the Bippity Boppity Boutique on board their Disney cruise ship and kindly ask one of the cast members if they have a little extra time to pixie dust you. From there, they will give you a shield for your face, cast a spell, and dust you with a swirl of glitter from a magic wand, all for free. It's a fun way to get a touch of the Bippity Boppity Boutique experience without getting a full makeover. And yes, they do this for little boys, and a lot of the times they'll call it pirate dust instead. Now, if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm to spread this to other people to be helped as well. And if you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified when I release new content. With that being said, I hope everybody has a magical day, and we'll see you real soon, everybody. Bye-bye.